Good morning. I'm with Chris Miller of Specialized Wealth Management. Chris, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, tell me something about your company.
Well, Specialized Wealth Management is an advisory firm that focuses on investment products that offer significant tax benefits. So either tax-advantaged investments, the ability to delay paying a tax like a 1031 exchange, or upfront tax write-offs from some certain investments.
Tell me about the 1031 for real estate portion of that.
Well, as I mentioned, we do 1031 exchanges. What I do is I work with about a dozen of the best real estate syndicators in the country. Collectively, they've got hundreds of properties all across the U.S., different product types like retail centers, office buildings, large apartment complexes, and I show investors how they can buy partial interests in these properties. By doing so, they can oftentimes get more cash flow than they're getting on their own. A lot of the times they can get the safety of a credit tenant with long-term leases, and in almost all the cases they've got no management work.
So you sell your 20-unit apartment building, you do a 1031 into one of these. How does that save taxes? What's that procedure?
Well, and I'm sure you're a little bit familiar with the 1031 exchange rules. Under these guidelines, an investor selling his investment property, be it a single-family house, an apartment complex, or even some vacant land for investment, can, after following certain guidelines, sell that property and exchange it tax-free for another piece of property.
Okay.
So, as I tell investors, let's say you sell your property and get $1 million back, rather than pay your capital gains taxes on your $1 million and have $700,000 left to invest, you can keep all your $1 million working for you, earning income for you and growing your principal for you.
Okay. Chris, you mentioned different areas of the country. What areas do you like the most of the United States?
Well, the areas I like in the United States, and I wrote an article about this recently, are the areas that are growing rapidly. So certain cities, off the top of my head, would be the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, the Atlanta, Georgia suburbs, certain areas of Texas, and of course Southern California. Now, Atlanta, Georgia, that particular area has had some trouble, as has most of the country in the last couple of years, but I think they're in a good position to continue good growth over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And as real estate investors, that's what we're looking for. Basically, for rent, all of our investors know that for their value to go up, rents need to go up. And rents go up when demand goes up for the product. So if you've got a growing population, that's a growing number of people who need to rent apartments, they need somewhere to shop, and they need somewhere to work. So all of that combines together to ease rents up over the long term, and that usually will result in an increase in values.
You're all over the country. What's your overall view of the real estate market? I mean, what do you see bottoming out, or where are we?
Well, as I'm sure you're telling some of your investors, right now prices are low and interest rates are low. So it could be a great time to buy. I'm telling investors too that if you've got a piece of property that maybe you're not liking the cash flow you're getting from it, it's a little on the low side, or it's very management intensive, now could be a great time to sell your property and take use of that 1031 exchange rule to trade up into another property.
Chris, do you mind if a viewer here calls you and asks you a silly question, doesn't necessarily give you business, right? Just picks your brain?
Oh sure, not at all. I'm always here to help. I love talking about real estate.
What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
The best way for them to get a hold of me is to call me. Specialized Wealth Management. My name's Chris Miller. And my toll-free number is 877-313-1868. I've got a website, chrismiller1031.com, or they can email me at chris@specializedwealth.com.
Chris, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Jim.